We've known each other all our lives.
I heard you singing down the hall, and I went down and said, you got a good voice.
Dean and I were paying like $95 a month rent.
This is our first show at Pappy's. I joined on in '89 and we started writing songs.
For some reason, we used to do our encores in boxer shorts.
Is Hootie ready?
The crowds are getting bigger everywhere we go.
The record company said, you know, we need a title tomorrow.
We're convinced that the only sales going on now are just people that lost their CDs.
We have no desire to be one-hit wonders or four-hit wonders.
It's wonderful, all the things that have happened to us, but I can't explain it anymore.
We all have a very different background in music as far as like what we listened to when we were younger.
Vocally, my biggest influence was probably Al Green's Let's Stay Together, because my mom played that all the time.
The album that influenced me most had to be Elton John, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. There was this one roll in one of the songs that I would just play 50 times over.
I'm just gonna have to say the Beatles, Abbey Road. I'd listen to Abbey Road and realize that like, this is intelligent music done by these same guys who I loved all their sappy poppy stuff.
Probably Van Halen. At the age that I was at when that came out, it really got me into guitars and everything. It made me want to be in a band more than I ever had been.
Dean and I grew up together. We've known each other all our lives. We put a band together in high school. Missing in Action. Really bad name. Went by MIA. And then a movie came out at the time called Missing in Action, and we thought we were so cool. We had camouflage vans and everything, man. Total 80s situation going on. We saved all kinds of stuff from the beginning of Hootie and the Blowfish, and we saved articles and flyers and pictures. Darius and I lived on the same hall freshman year, and Dean lived in the dorm too. I haven't been up here since 1987.
Dean and I lived right here. This is our room. Me and Dean, Dino and I, our room.
This was my room, and when I was a freshman from Maryland. I lived with a big South Carolina redneck, but he's still a good friend of mine. I sang in college in a little college choir. I guess it's not a little college choir.
Darius was always very reliable and dependable. He always had a certain charisma, obviously a certain talent. Ironically, he has a very nice lyric tenor voice, which is what we tended to use him for more.
If tomorrow all the things were gone, I'd worked for all my life. And if I had to start again with just my children and my wife.
I heard you singing down the hall, and I went down and said, you got a good voice.
That was the first time we met?
Yeah.
In 1985, we started a band called the Wolf Brothers, just me and him playing acoustically. And then Dean and Mark have known each other their whole lives. And '86, we started Hootie and the Blowfish.
People always ask us about how we got the name.
Hootie was a guy that Darius knew in college, and he gave him the nickname Hootie for his big eyes.
His best friend had these really big cheeks, and I called him the Blowfish, and that caught on. And so I said to Mark, if we're going to name the band Hootie and the Blowfish, and Mark said, yeah, whatever. And,
I think it's cool that no one in the band is Hootie or the Blowfish. It's just named after two guys.
Can't think of anything else I like less than being called Hootie. I hate that so much. I'm going to kick you in the head. Hey! And people do it all the time. I mean, I can't blame it. It's my fault.
It's nice now that most people know how we got the name. We don't have to describe it anymore.
Thank God. Now we got to explain our album titles.
I'd heard the name before, you know, because they'd been playing a bunch of fraternity parties, and they had built up a little name for themselves.
Actually here, this might be our first show.
Yeah, it is.
This is our first show at Pappy's.
Darius is like, well, we can start playing at this place across the street, which is right there.
Yeah.
It's called Adam's Bookstore now.
But it used to be
It used to be called Pappy's.
Pappy's Chicken Wing Joint.
That was the first place we played. We played there for a year.
This is the very first flyer of our very first show.
Isn't that one?
Oh, no, this one.
He doesn't even know.
I think we got, this may be wrong, but I think it was like either $35 or $50, something like that, and a case of Strohs.
Here's a picture here of our old drummer, Brantley.
The music was going really well, and we were all really good friends, but he didn't want to really be in a traveling rock and roll band, you know. That wasn't where his sights were headed.
I joined on in '89 and we started writing songs seriously.
Sonny was
kidnapped from a rival band.
Yeah, he was in another band called Hootie and the Jones. We explained to him that we were trying to write original music and that we needed a drummer.
They got that extra rider. They got that final piece. It just all came together and evolved so much faster than it had been evolving prior to that.
The early years with Hootie and the Blowfish really were kind of funny.
Oh God, this is great. This is
This is our first office, which was Rusty's bedroom.
In the beginning, it was really just booking as many shows for them as possible. It seems like in the beginning that they took my calls mainly because of their interest in the name of the band.
At the time, Hootie was playing these frat party circuit, and they were doing a lot of cover tunes, you know, like Sultans of Swing by Dire Straits and things like that.
We got pictures of our first van, too.
And this was our normal route. We do Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill for a weekend. We do Greensboro, Burlington, Wilmington for a weekend. We do Myrtle Beach, Charleston, Hilton Head for a weekend. You know, these are the routes that we took every 4 to 5 weeks.
When you stay in a van, 7 people, for like 2 years straight, 3 years, you really know them. We know each other's underwear size. It's really disgusting.
And it only had 2 seats, so, you know, one person would drive, one person would ride shotgun, and then everyone would lay in the back with the equipment. It was very dangerous, but thank God we finally got rid of it.
You know, we decided to tour, start a mailing list, let people know when we were coming into town, try to sell our tapes, save some money, make another demo tape, shop the demo tape to record labels, start the whole thing all over again.
You know, we'd have like a week where we'd go out and do 4 or 5 shows, and maybe one show was a fraternity show where we'd make $1,200, and that would cover, you know, the expenses on those other 4 nights where we only made $50.
We did a lot of opening up for bands that we like kind of worshipped at the time.
Like Scruffy the Cat, for instance. We knew the bar owners and stuff, so we'd say, Scruffy's coming to town, can we open that show? And they'd be like, yeah, cool, man, no problem.
So I came in, I gave them a shot, and you know, the first time in, I think they drew like 12 people, 13 people.
We even had a couple of Blues Brother experiences where we'd go into a bar and no one would show up, and we'd get done at the end of the night, and I'd be like settling with the owner. And he'd be like, all right, well, let's see, you guys got $150 for coming here. You drank a case and a half of beer. He's like, you actually owe me $30. It's like, and they like trying to be cool. They're like, we'll just write that $30 off. You guys come back.
Dina and I were paying like $95 a month rent, you know, for a long time.
That's 75
It was
for
a
the
hellhole. It was a cave, but you know, we could quit our jobs because we could come up with that.
Us being from the Southeast, it was almost better for us than being from a big city because we could travel and tour and make a living without being a signed band.
For some reason, when we used to get drunk at our club shows, we used to do our encores in boxer shorts. There's really no good reason for it.
I think it was just us trying to get naked.
One of their